All right. Welcome back to the Angry.
Let's get it. Not much. A little tired from some boxing last night that I watched. Man,
Yeah, I'm not.
same here.
Great, Mike is. I
Can y'all hear me as well, or
don't know how
just
this
Greg?
stuff keeps happening, bro. Every time we go live, man, it's some shit. I don't understand it. Like there should be nothing wrong with my mic. I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Sound but static. Oh, all good now. We good now.
Guys, my apologies. I don't really know what this thing does. Sometimes it's crazy. I have not even there's anything that's changing. I want to start with
You're static again, Greg.
uh,
So it's just Greg's
I
side. Can
shouldn't
y'all
be
hear me at
staticky.
all?
I should not be staticky at all. We just literally did a video with the exact same settings, so I don't know what the issue is. For whatever reason, when we go live, all of a sudden we start having audio issues, and I don't know why.
Yeah, Greg. It's just your issue. Are you on there twice?
No, give me 1 second.
Yeah. See, Terrence trying to stop us from cooking his ass today.
Hey, can you guys hear me better now? Because Jason, you can hear me fine, right? No issue.
Yeah, I can't even find no issue, no lag, no static, no nothing.
So yeah, Jason hears me fine. I hear Jason fine. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Can you guys hear me okay now? All right, perfect.
Hey, Greg. It's saying you good. You out again. They can't hear you. Damn, Greg.
I don't know, man.
So I assume everyone has seen the fight last night, huh? Terence Crawford, T.O. Anyone still watch that Manny Pacquiao? And this weekend for me, it wasn't the fights didn't live up to what I wanted them to be anyway. So they said you're muted.
I'm not muted.
Uh,
Can you guys hear me better now? I'm on this setting that actually I hear myself talking when I use this setting, but maybe it works better.
hey, Legal Legacy, yeah, man, he forgot it was exhibition. He got mad, didn't he? Legal Legacy says he hear you now. Yeah, Denise, yeah, big baby. He did his thing, but he got to work on. He got to be defensively responsible when he's throwing punches. He was getting hit too much for my liking.
So, guys, I'm good, right? Let guys in the comment section please let me know if I'm good or not.
They're saying, do you have like a magnet?
I'm good. I'm good. Let's start cooking. Terence Crawford last night, bro. Terence Crawford last night. So I want to start off, Jason, with BLK Prime and the way that they looked last night. So let's talk about it. So, we were doubtful that they were going to be able to actually get this across the finish line, but they did. So kudos to BLK Prime for actually being able to get it across the finish line. But I want to talk about the production value. I would say the production value was definitely below par, but at the same time, it was the first time getting into it. And so I would expect for it to be below par. What are your thoughts on the production value that you saw last night? And then I want to transition to the card. Because I thought the card was straight booty, bro. That's me.
That card was trash. I don't care what nobody says. That card was shit. Straight booty.
Yeah, it was
now,
booty.
As far as the presentation of BLK, I didn't have no expectations. So I went in with no expectations. So they passed on that sense. I was able, the crowd at first, it was not a lot of people in there, So they kept it dark. That's what I saw. They said it was like around 14,000 people there. That's what they said it was.
Jason, I can tell you, I paused it at one point and looked at that top row. There was nobody up there at the top. Nobody. So I would be surprised if they actually have 14,000 people in there. But they say they have 14,000 people, so I'm going to leave it at that. They said they have 14,000. That's okay. What were you saying?
Yeah. So the card was trash though. They had a dude that was 386 pounds in there, had no business being in the fighting. Then the cat before him, the last guy, his last name was Ballard. He came in and he barely could get in the ring. Tarva and Paulie, they're like, well, we don't know if he's ready to fight. He shouldn't be fighting because he's not prepared. He looked like he was already drunk before he got in the ring. Oh my gosh, the card itself was trash. Bud himself, he did what he's supposed to do against a tomato can. He got him up out of there. But Bud also got hit a lot in that fight too. So he got walked down sometimes and he was getting hit. He could have been, people say he was setting traps. Well, you set a trap like that against Spence, you're the one that's going to get caught. Not the other way around. I guarantee it. If that's what he thinks, if he was trying to set traps by going backwards and Avanesyan was putting pressure on him like that, Avanesyan ain't Spence.
Yep.
And Avanesyan ain't elite. He ain't an A level. He ain't B level. He's a C level fighter at best.
Yep. So the card was, it was just. I have to reiterate this, man, and say it again. So forgive me for this, guys, if I'm being too negative. But it was booty. It was absolute booty. Cyborg's fight. That you guys tell me this is why we consider the Angry Man podcast, because we're both assholes. We've been this way for a long time. But tell me that Cyborg, her opponent did not look like Black Youngster. Like, it was just, that's the first thing that came to my mind. Of like, Cyborg is in there with Black Youngster. This fight is ridiculous. This person has lost twice. And Cyborg, although, she looked okay, but couldn't get this individual out of there. So for me, I was just like, this is a terrible card. And then when you start thinking about David Avanesyan versus Terence Crawford, you could see clearly right off the jump that David didn't have enough artillery in his arsenal to actually do anything to Terence Crawford. He was diving for punches. He was trying to throw big shots, hoping that he could connect on Terence Crawford's chin. On a few occasions, he was actually able to do so, but it was clear that that was the only play that he actually had. So I knew right after round one, I was like, this fight is over. Terence Crawford's going to win this fight. Now, the thing that was interesting about Terence Crawford and what I took from it was that Terence looked a little bit slower than what he normally does. Now, we can attribute it to ring rust all you want to, but ring rust doesn't impact your reflexes. Ring rust impacts maybe your timing. It impacts maybe some of your skills a little bit. You got to sharpen them back up, but it definitely doesn't impact your reaction time. And I felt like his reaction time was a bit delayed versus what I've seen in the past from Terence Crawford. So I think he's more vulnerable to Errol Spence attack than I did in the past. I still call it a 50-50 fight, but I'm even more confident now that Errol would end up beating him if and when they meet in the ring.
Yeah, man. I mean, I know, like we had talked about before, even with Texas Fight 4, we figured Terence would try to carry the fight. You know, I even mentioned that he might carry the fight, not to the point of like Floyd and McGregor, to that degree where he won't throw a punch for like 3 rounds. But damn, man, I noticed he came out orthodox. He took an overhand right and he immediately switched to being southpaw. And he stayed southpaw pretty much the rest of the fight. So he's not really switch hitting. And he's done it in other fights as well. Once he gets hit, he switches and he stays to the opposite side. You know, so he's not just going back and forth. Avanesyan was more like switch hitting a little bit, you know, but to people try to say that, oh, this was a great fight or anything like that, it wasn't a great fight. It was a glorified sparring match. That's what it was. Terence did what he was supposed to do. He got him up out of it in 6 rounds, just like Mean Machine did. Just like we all knew Terence was going to win this fight. It is boxing, so we gave Avanesyan a puncher's chance, which we said it was like maybe 1% at that, but it could happen. And it just didn't. I didn't like to seeing Bud get hit. And Mills Lane, you said, what's wrong with getting hit? The name of the game is to hit and don't get hit. It's the sweet science. That was the problem. When you're getting hit by a lesser competition like that, it's an issue. Because when you fight elite talent, you're going to get hurt. You're going to get hurt. Terence can't do that shit against Spence. He can't do that shit against Boots. He won't last. You know, so that's what bothered me with that. I do give Terence this, that he was off for about a year. So it could have been ring rust, you know, but none of the fact he did what he had to do and got past this fight. Glorified sport. Yeah, he did.
You know, I don't know, man. There's a level of disappointment that I had with Terence Crawford. You know, I probably chronicled this in the videos that we've done since we've been a channel. It started with the fact that he did not move on from Bob Arum when he had the first opportunity to do so. And instead he signed back to Bob Arum. And, you know, an argument can be made that he was trying to avoid the best fighters in the division by doing so, because we knew everybody that could really give him a challenge was at the PBC, and he chose not to either become a free agent or sign with the PBC. Either one of them was fine. And since he's been at welterweight, you know, it's been subpar. Guys like Jeff Horn, Benavidez, Mean Machine was a decent fighter, but still, Amir Khan. My boy, Kell Brook. I love Kell Brook. You know I love Kell Brook, but Kell Brook was faded. He was washed. And so I'm just tired of seeing Terence Crawford in these fights where you know for a fact not going to be challenged. He's not going to be challenged in regards to these particular fighters that he's fighting currently. And so that's my issue with him. I want him to take the challenge of all these additional fighters that are out there that could possibly challenge him, instead of going in a press conference afterwards and having his trainer say that everybody's ducking him. And we're going to get into that in a minute. But I'm just disappointed. I'm tired of seeing these types of fights from Bud Crawford. And that reminds me, there's another topic that I want to dive into, and it's a topic that T Ward, shout out to the Mike Check podcast, because I was on there this week, and T and I were talking about this, and it's how everything is eventually going to shape up when you think about what's currently going on at the WBO level, the IBF, and the WBC level, how all this stuff is going to shake out. I'm not going to go into the details of it because I think I want to do a video with T Ward on Terence Crawford next week. But the way that this is all shaking out is shaking out to be in favor of Terence Crawford, and it's going to not favor Errol Spence, the guy that's been doing all the heavy lifting associated with this fight. So that's disappointing to me. And Terence Crawford overall is disappointing to me. I want to see him step up and fight the best guys.
Same here. Now, what I found interesting at the end of the fight, Terence didn't mention Spence's name not once. Not once. Not once. But what happened when after the Ugas fight? What did Spence say? What did Spence say? Spence said, he said, y'all know what I want to do. I'm coming for that motherfucking bunts, Terence. That's what he said. Paraphrasing, but that's pretty much what he said. I was expecting this was Bud's chance to come out. It's like, I want the Spence fight. Let's make it happen. Instead, he kind of dodged it. You know, he had no knowledge of Spence's accident either. So if he had knowledge of the Spence's accident, that would be one thing I could have understood that. But he had no knowledge of that because he admitted to it in the post-fight interview afterwards. So he admitted to not knowing about anything about the accident. He didn't call him out. Why? Why didn't he call him out?
Exactly, man. Exactly. And, you know, here's my thing with that. And somebody mentioned this in the comment section. And it's interesting because I felt the same way. Yo, Terence Crawford's energy, guys. His energy after that fight, he had no energy for Errol Spence. He had no energy for anybody else. It's hopefully these fights will occur. You know, I just nah, bruh. Call out names. You're the boss. He is the boss. The boss dictates the fights. He is both the boss and the fighter. And he knows who are the mandatories. He knows who are the top three in each one of the divisions. So he knows who the fans want to see him face. So give the fans what they want and face the fighters that we want to see. Outside of that, if you don't want to do that, then man, go ahead and move up and face Jermall Charlo, which I don't think he's really going to do. But according to his trainer, of course, everybody's scared of him. But yeah, he had no energy after the fight. He had no energy at the press conference. Yo, where's that energy, man, to actually make this fight? It makes me feel like he doesn't really want this fight, man. And it makes me concerned about that because I don't think he really want it.
Exactly. And I mean, that's a good point. You say he's the boss. So if you're the boss, you call out who you want next. You don't be like, well, we'll have to see. Go ahead. No, you're a boss, remember? Bosses make boss moves.
Exactly. Bosses make boss move. The boss cuts the check. He's not asking for one. The boss guarantees. He's not asking for a guarantee. So how the fuck are you the boss? Forgive my language, guys. I know you guys don't really hear me cussing like this, but I got to say it because my point is not made if I don't put a little oomph behind it. How the fuck are you the boss when you asking for a fucking check? It doesn't make any sense.
No, man. I mean, that's what pissed me off with Crawford because he's talented. We always give but his credit is how talented he is. So we want to see the fight. When we see him doing some duck shit, we're going to call it out. That last night, to me, that was some duck shit. You do all the bullshit talking beforehand, and then you win your fight with a spectacular knockout. Spectacular knockout.
Absolutely.
And you don't even mention the person that's in your weight class that has the 3 belts to make so you can be undisputed 2 times.
Yep.
And that you don't want that now? But you're the boss. Call him out, man. And I never was going to call Bud ducking anything until now, until it's got to the point where I cannot.
It feels like he's ducking.
I have to.
It feels like he's ducking.
It really does.
It feels like he's ducking. So before we make this next transition, guys, we got 75 people in the building. Please, if you could, hit the like button. And if you dislike it, hit the dislike button. But make sure you interact, please. So I want to transition, bro, into what Bomac said. And so this is where the level of delusion comes in, bruh. I have never seen this level of delusion in my life. Terence Crawford fans and Terence Crawford and his team are the most delusional people I've ever met in my life. So I said, you know what? Listen, I know what's going to end up happening because it happens in the comment section all the time. We'll put out material and people will say, oh, you're taking it out of context or post a link or this, that, and the third. And I'm like, Okay, so for this particular video, I'm going to lay it out crystal clear in terms of what happened. Put in Bomac's comments, put in comments from Boots, and Boots had more comments where he was calling them out. Put in comments from Errol Spence, put in comments from Jermall Charlo. It's clear that people want that smoke. But yet this dude went at the post-fight presser and had the nerve to say people don't want to get in the ring with Terence Crawford. I would say it's the reverse. Terence Crawford don't want to get in the ring with anybody that's going to test him. So he continues to fight the same bums or the same types of bums over and over. So that's the issue that I had with Terence Crawford. I know you haven't had the opportunity, Jay, to actually weigh in on this, but you saw the video earlier. What are your thoughts on that, man? What are your thoughts on those comments from Bomac?
Bomac was hungry. He was hungry. Because no way in hell he gonna overlook the fact that Spence called him out. Spence literally called him out after the Ugas fight directly. Boots been calling out. Boots been calling Spence out and Bud. You know, so I'm like, you got the two biggest threats out there calling you out, but no one's calling Bud out. Bomac, go eat a burger. Go do something, bro. And someone said his insulin low. Maybe his insulin was low or something. Maybe he was just, he was hangry. Because that's bullshit. We all knew people have called Bud out. But Bud, you're a boss. You didn't call Boots out. Why didn't you fight Boots this time? Oh, their names never came up. Get the hell out of here, man. Oh, Ortiz name never came up. Okay, we know Ortiz has some dealings with other people saying that he didn't want to fight initially with Bud. That's fine. Boots wants all the smoke. We know this. Earl wants the smoke. But you ain't fighting none of them. Bomac, you full of shit, dude. You full of shit. You're a shitty boxer, and you're full of shit right now.
Hey, so Brenda says Charlo cries when Crawford's mentioned. I haven't heard him cry. I will say this, Jermall Charlo, he's an emotional guy. We've said this on many occasions. He's very emotional. But it's that emotion that will make me think that he would take the Terence Crawford fight. He's been shitting on Terence Crawford for sure. But crying, come on, man. Let's be real here. And Bomac, every time you turn around, 1 minute Bomac is talking, the next minute he's silent. We did a video saying Bomac changes his tune. So once they started negotiating the fight, all of a sudden, oh, Spencer's a good fighter. He'll be tough. Right. I think he's tougher than Jermall Charlo. And then once the negotiations got hot and heavy, he just disappears, Jay. I don't see him anymore. Yeah. You don't hear anything else from him. And then once the negotiations break off, now all of a sudden he back. And the PBC, they know that Errol Spence is going to lose to Terence Crawford. Where are you getting this shit? Why even go to the negotiation table if you believe that it's a chance? Why even negotiate for fucking months if you believe that that's the issue? Errol Spence is probably going to get his biggest payday versus Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford's going to get his biggest payday. Al Heyman has a fiduciary responsibility to make sure that Errol Spence gets what he wants, which is to be unified and to get his biggest payday, which is also going to be the biggest payday that Al Heyman gets from Errol Spence. So why would they duck that fight? Those types of comments, man, I'm just like, what are you talking about? It makes absolutely no sense at all. And that's the problem that I have with Terence Crawford, his camp, and his delusional fans. Okay. It is absolutely ridiculous.
And that now Mills ain't talking about, did Bud beat up Spence best opponents or not? Beat Brooke quicker than Avanesyan. Brooke was old as shit.
Quicker. Beat Brooke faster than Avanesyan. I don't get that.
I guess he stopped Brooke in round 5 or 4.
Hey, I mean, so let me jump in here real quick because look, guys, let's stop this, right? Okay. So Kell Brook is one of my favorite fighters. I've been watching Kell Brook for a long time. I was watching Kell Brook when he fought against Sean Porter. And Jay, you know this. The Kell Brook that was in the ring with Terence Crawford was not the Kell Brook that fought Errol Spence. That was a Kell Brook that had gone up to 154 pounds, didn't even think that he could make 147 pounds anymore, and came back down to 147 pounds with 2 eye surgeries 3 or 4 years later. Not the same guy, not comparable at all. So again, these are examples from the Terence Crawford fans that just it sickens me. Use your logic, people. Don't come up in here with these bullshit arguments because they don't make any sense.
Hey, Greg.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for cutting you off, man. Go ahead.
I got a question for you, Greg. In the chat.
Okay.
Who was Terence Crawford's best win? Who was his best win? Mean Machine? At 147.
At 147?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mean Machine. Well, Porter. Porter was his best win.
Porter.
Name-wise, I was
damn near both feet out. Name-wise, yes, but I'm talking about quality-wise. Not name-wise, because
probably Mean Machine. Probably Mean Machine. I would agree. I would say it's
Mean Machine is, so that's his best fighter. That's the best person he beat. With Mean
My
Machine,
opinion, that's what it is.
I mean, when we're looking at the quality and everything, at the time when Spence beat Porter was a better fighter. Porter was also on the tail in his career, I believe, also. But he was better than the version that fought Bud. Danny Garcia was better. Ugas was better than Mean Machine. I mean, at 147, who on Bud's resume touches anyone on Spence's resume out of Danny? We can't say Porter since Porter fought both of them, and Porter was older when he fought Bud. So Danny kills damn near basically everyone on Bud's resume at 147. Ugas kills everyone at 147. So stop bullshit. At 147, Bud hasn't done a damn thing. He got an easy belt from Jeff Horn. Stop it.
No, totally agree with that. Terence Crawford, if you guys haven't had the opportunity, go and look at the channel and see the truth behind Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. And we kind of break this down. You know, we've seen people like Roy Jones talk about resumes between the two fighters. And it's clear to me that Terence Crawford's resume is not really that great. We've always give Terence the benefit of the doubt because he appears to pass the eye test, but the resumes don't stack up. And right now, when you look at Errol Spence has unified 3 of the titles at 147 pounds. And he's fought the champions to do so, right? Because that's what he had to do. Now it's set up where Errol Spence has 3 mandatories. Soon Boots will be his mandatory because I fully expect that he's going to beat his opponent next year. And then you have Ortiz and Stanionis that are vying for the opportunity to fight Spence. If Ortiz wins, then that means he drops out of the WBO because he will be then the interim WBA champion, and Stanionis will drop in general. So who does that leave for Bud to fight as a mandatory? The same bums he's been fighting in the past. So, you know, this guy, his resume is not up to par. His resume won't be made any better in future fights. He'll get the opportunity to coast, and then maybe he might take a Jermall Charlo fight, but I doubt it because he'll probably try to leverage BLK Prime to fight another bum in a sparring match to get whatever dollars he believes he's deserved, which I would tell you right off the bat is not $10 million. He's definitely not getting $10 million. So Jay, we didn't cover the fight. We didn't. What's going on?
Oh, about the fight. So someone, Deuce Daily asked us about those gloves.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to transition to that. So, guys, when you get off the live stream, don't do it right now. But when you get off the live stream, check out the video that we did. We did a video on the gloves. But yeah, we're going to dive into that right now. But first, I want to pause. We got 96 people in the building. We got 37 likes. Guys, please hit the like button or the dislike button. But I don't believe we got that many people with the dislike button. So please hit the like button if you're in the building, you like the content.
And quickly, very quickly, the address Mills Lane, who looks like he's probably trolling because no one can be this delusional. Some shit he's saying about Jeff Horn being a good fighter or anything of that nature there, and all the other bullshit he said. No, we did not have Bud losing to Kell Brook. We knew he was going to get Brook out of there. No one had him losing to Brook, so stop.
Exactly.
We've also said the fight between Spence. Early on, we always said the Spence and Bud fight would be basically a 50-50 fight. It's going to be a close fight. We never said it was going to go all the way one way. Now, for me personally, after watching Bud, I'm more towards Spence side than I ever was beforehand. Just because of what Spence brings to the table, the type of work that Spence puts into the body, the inside fighting. Bud has no inside fight game. Stop it, man.
We got to talk about that. We got to talk about that. Keep that in the back of your mind. First of all, I want to pause right here. I want to pause right here and say Number one, I want to shout out our sponsor, Raw Dog Interactive. If you guys need any kind of web development, any kind of graphics, any kind of support like that, please reach out to Raw Dog Interactive. They can do it for you. And then I want to comment on one thing T Ward mentioned in the comment section. Guys, if somebody is in the chat and they're saying all kind of craziness or whatever, we're fine with that. But you guys know what trolling is versus someone being disrespectful and crazy. To T's point, we got thick skin. You can call me stupid, you can call me crazy, you can call me whatever you want to call me. If you disagree with me, I'm all for it because that's what this is about. This is a community. So I don't care if you disagree with me. HLD has disagreed with me. The Legacy has disagreed with me. ML21 has disagreed with me. Brenda disagrees with me. A lot of people disagree with me sometimes. We don't mind disagreements, but we all here to be respectful to each other because it's a community. So with that being said, let's jump back into what you said, his inside game. Jay, you and I were sending messages back and forth about his inside game. And I said, boy, I hope he doesn't try to fight Errol Spence in that manner because his inside game doesn't exist. So elaborate on what you saw last night. I do not see an inside game from Terence Crawford at all. If Errol Spence can move this into an inside game, Crawford is in trouble. I mean, big trouble. What are your thoughts on that?
The inside game is Spence's bread and butter. I call Spence the Tim Duncan of boxing because he's fundamentally sound. He comes for the inside game. That is his domain. But doesn't do it like that. But he was losing some exchanges with Avanesyan last night on the inside. That's where Avanesyan was getting most of his hits off of, most of his punches off. Was on the inside, and Avanesyan's a C-level fighter. Now I get Bud was playing with his food, whatnot. But even when you're playing around with it, you don't get hit. This should have looked like someone said in the chat. This should have looked like Floyd versus Gotti. That's how this fight should have gone, but it didn't. Because Bud's inside game is trash. Okay, maybe it's not trash, but it ain't on the elite level. You can't tell me it is. You said Mean Machine. He fought inside with Mean Machine. You said Mean Machine. Stop. Stop.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So, no, I agree with that. So Mill Lanes in the comment section said he did nothing but uppercuts. I was looking at that last night, Jay, and I said, what the fuck? Like this motherfucker. Guys, forgive me. I shouldn't be cussing like that. I'm like, this dude threw like 6 uppercuts in a row, and Avanesyan couldn't do shit with it. And I'm like, the same punch over and over. And I'm like, what? You can't stop this shit? Like, what are you doing?
You just eat them. The same punch. The same exact uppercut.
Punch over and over and over. But I want to transition to something else because T Ward. Again, shout out to the Mike Check podcast. T Ward in the building. If you haven't had the opportunity, go check out the Mike Check podcast. T Ward. That's almost like a sister channel to the Anger Man podcast and Sports Media. Go check it out. So T just put in the comment section, Greg and Jay, if time permits, talk about Pro Box going on hiatus from breakdowns. Then half their crew is on. So we noticed that. Jay, give me your theory on Pro Box. Because so first of all, let me preface this. I don't agree with your theory. But I want you to throw your theory out there because it kind of aligns to what T Ward is saying.
So basically, I live in Tampa. Pro Box has been doing some stuff in Plant City. Plant City is a little bit kind of like north of Tampa, I guess you could kind of say. Ain't nothing in Plant City. But they've been running some events in Plant City. Ain't no headliners or nothing like that. And from what I've been seeing, no one's been going to those fights. So I think they're the ones that were behind the whole BLK shit outside of Roy, because Roy hasn't been part of them at all as far as when they've been with BLK. So I think Tarver, Polly got together to try to pull up this BLK Prime because Pro Box TV was failing. No one was really paying any attention. Their fights was subpar from what I've seen. So that's my theory on them coming towards BLK to try to help BLK have money now that more stuff is coming out about BLK Prime.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's the case. So here's my logic.
I am the rejects.
So here's my logic on that and why I don't believe that's the case. I don't believe that Paulie Malignaggi or Roy Jones or Antonio Tarver have deep enough pockets to actually fund BLK Prime. So that's the reason why. Now, maybe they have some involvement with it, but they can't be any kind of primary investors. But based off what T is saying, and all of a sudden, because I didn't know they were going to be on BLK Prime. So all of a sudden, these guys just pop up on BLK Prime. And it's like, what kind of association? So we found out a few weeks ago that Roy Jones has a connection with Terence Crawford. So no fucking wonder he gives the prediction that he gives. Crawford's his boy. Mm-hmm. Similar to Ward. The same shit. So they're giving their opinions based off of their interconnections with these guys. And that's fine, but you gotta start taking what they say with a grain of salt. Because they have a relationship with Terence Crawford, and that's fine. But what they're saying to me is not objective. And that's the way that I feel though. Did we get the chance to transition? I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, we didn't get to the gloves.
Okay, but go ahead. I know I feel like you got another
that's what I'm about to say. No, I'm about to say about the gloves. Now let me preface this about the gloves. And y'all want to say gloves. I saw someone say glove gate in there. We're not saying the gloves are the reason Terence.
Hold on. Our title was Glove Gate. So I mean, it is what it is. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, but we're not saying that's the reason he beat David. He beat David because David's a shitty fighter.
That's
and Terence is a better fighter.
That's correct.
point blank, period. Now with the gloves, it was interesting how both gloves had the same issue. I've never seen that. As long as I've been watching boxing, when I went my dad who used to train fighters and everything, I've never seen that happen. Never seen that happen. It was just questionable why they didn't stop the fight for Terence to re-glove up. That's based on the rules of of boxing and for the state of Nebraska. They have that in Nebraska Athletic Commission that if the gloves are damaged, they have to be changed. The referee will call a timeout and they will give the administrator of the gloves. I mean, it wouldn't have helped. It would just probably give David maybe a round or two extra, but it's just the principle behind it. That's all.
Bro, I have never in my life ever seen two gloves split in the exact same area, in the exact same fight, on the exact same fighter in my life. I've never seen that before. And you and I, again, we always text back and forth during the fights. We're like, man, did you see that shit, man? And it's like they continue to allow the fight to continue. And I specifically looked at his gloves as they raised his hands or his fists. And I've never seen anybody, I've never had my hands, like wrap with that kind of tape or anything. So I don't know if it was done correctly or not. Maybe we have some boxing experts in the building who have wrapped hands before. But I mean, the fact that those gloves ripped in the exact same spot, I mean, you would think that means that there's something that's underlying those gloves, meaning something that was done in terms of the wrapping of those gloves that caused them to rip like that. And so, Jay, I'm gonna pause here again, and I'm gonna say, I'm gonna pose this question to you. Was it possible that those gloves played a part in at least the KO? Again, David Avanesyan wasn't gonna win this fight, but the fact that he was able to go ahead and get him up out of there in the 6 rounds, it feels like there was a correlation between the gloves ripping and his ability to actually land that shot and get him up out of there. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, it's possible it could have helped. I mean, if the pad in there could have moved due to the gloves ripping, he would have been getting hit with the plaster instead of the actual cushion. So that could have definitely helped with the knockout. But I mean, I think Bud was going to get him up out of there anyway. I mean, he hit him with 35 uppercuts in a row. The only thing he had to do was just catch him with the right hook. That's the only thing he added to it after the uppercut. So yeah, I mean, it definitely could have helped for the knockout, but Bud was going to win the fight no matter what. So I don't want anyone to try to say that we're talking about the gloves because that's the reason Bud won. No, we're just saying it's suspect that they didn't stop the fight for him to change gloves because that's.
We read the rules. Job. If you haven't had the opportunity to go and see the other video that we did, we read all the rules off. They should have stopped the fight and had them change the gloves. I think it was to make sure that because Crawford was starting to get into a rhythm, and I think it was to make sure that he kept that rhythm, and also David Avanesyan would have got the opportunity to rest and get a breather, and so maybe that was part of the reason why they didn't stop it as well. I don't know. It was crazy to me. So what's next for Terence Crawford? So let's talk about that. What do we think is going to end up happening with Terence Crawford, Jay. So, you know, I was on T Ward's show this week. I always fuck this up. The Mic Check podcast. I was on with T Ward earlier in this week, and we talked about this topic. And definitely, T, I want you to chime in the comment section. But what do you think is going to happen next for Terence Crawford? Do you think he's going to fight anybody that's going to have a post here in the next few months? He says he's want to fight more frequently than what he's currently fighting. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts around that?
Well, he said, if I'm not mistaken, he said he want to fight in April. So if he wants to fight in April, he's not fighting Spence, especially if Spence fights somebody that has to fight Thurman for a mandatory. If he has to fight Spence in, say, February, he's not going to turn around and fight Terence in April. That's just not going to happen like that. So for Terence, I don't think Terence would be good at 154 just because I just think he's too small, honestly. I think he's too small. And for him getting hit like he did last night, he gets hit by Jermall Charlo like that. Hell, Fundora, or even a Lubin. He's not going to be able to take those shots. Those are some heavy hitters right there. You know, they're just naturally bigger than him and whatnot. Terence surprisingly would have the range, the reach advantage on most of them, except for Fundora, of course. So, I mean, I don't see him going to 154 right away. At 147, I mean, his mandatory would be what, Ortiz, if that'd be mandated after May, if I'm not mistaken. So if that's the case, I don't know who he fights. He's not going. I would say Conor Benn, but Conor Benn has those drug issues, you know, those PED issues going on with him. So I don't know who he's going to fight. I don't think he'll fight a Stanionis, Ortiz, Boots, anyone of that caliber. I see him fighting the lower top 10, top 15.
Yep. I agree with that.
Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, someone mentioned in there, he might fight Pacquiao.
I would not doubt that either. Again, I don't want to give the Crawford's benefit in this titles.
Your mic muted again. You might have to refresh.
I shouldn't be.
Now, Mills Lane, that could be possible for what you said about Oscar waiting for Bud to retire. That could be possible because he did hold Ortiz back from accepting a fight with Bud. I will give you that. That could be possible. We know Oscar does hold stuff, and he tried to balloon his fighters to get extra records to make them seem like they're good fighters, and not. We saw what happened to the last cat that got destroyed by Bivol. So that's a possibility there, for sure. Yeah, still can't hear you.
I don't.
Try to refresh, or can you unplug it, or do you got anything magnetic around the mic or anything?
No, I haven't done anything.
Yeah.
The fact that you can hear me, but they can't.
Yeah.
Give me one second. I mean, go ahead, Jay. Take it over.
Yeah, for me, for Bud, I mean, if I was Bud and I'm just about trying to line my pockets, I'm gonna set that Pacquiao fight up. Because Pacquiao, I mean, he's over, he's already retired. We saw what happened to him against Ugas. So now he's a little bit older. He's been out the ring and he's not really. I don't think he's really focused on boxing like that. He looked okay against DKU, but it's DKU who's not a boxer and he's a MMA. He's a mixed martial arts artist or karate guy, something like that. Because I actually stayed up and I was able to watch that fight last night with Pacquiao. Don't If you haven't watched it, don't waste your time. It's not worth it. So if he fights Pacquiao, that would be a money grab for him. Perfect money grab for him. Pacquiao won't be much of a threat as he once was, of course. I mean, I had Bud beating Pacquiao even in the past before Pacquiao beat Thurman. So that's why I felt Bob protected Pacquiao and kept him from Bud because Bud would have retired Pacquiao. So you see, Lane, I'm even. I'm not playing favorites. Bud would have retired Pacquiao just like Spence would have retired Pacquiao.
Exactly.
Um, but with Bud, you didn't give your take on who you thought he would be fighting next. You didn't get a chance to do that.
Oh,
It's They're saying they can't hear you again, Greg. Did you refresh? You refresh again?
I don't. There.
That's just really weird. They can't hear either of us. Oh no, they said I'm good.
Yeah, I don't know what's.
Yeah, do you have a lot of stuff running on your side there?
No, I've.
Okay.
Go ahead. Let you take it over for a minute.
All right. No problem. So Mills Lane, you said Ugas was trash. Ugas wasn't trash, bro. Ugas is far from trash. Is he an elite fighter like Spence and Bud? No. Is he an A, B fighter? Definitely. Ugas can fight. He has a high IQ. I mean, if Ugas is trash, what the hell is Mean Machine, Jeff Horn, and now I won't keep going. No need to. So I mean, you gotta be trolling, dude. You gotta be trolling, man. Yeah, like Deuce Daly said, Ugas beat Bud twice already. Although as an amateur, he still beat him. So he has some skills. He's not a tomato can. He's not a tomato can at all.
Jay, I know what the issue is. I think so.
I mean,
You guys should be able to hear me right now.
yeah, Deuce Daly said he's back.
Yeah. Okay. I don't. Yeah. For a minute there, it was for whatever reason, OBS was deleting my. It was deleting my mic, my feed for some reason. I don't know why. Um. Yeah.
Yeah. Shit. It's saying you're going. Guys, I told him to get his mic from Amazon. He got it from Wish. So don't get shit from Wish, all right? He's also an FSU fan, so that's why the mic is doing that bullshit too for him. So, but now, yeah, I mean, Ugas had some good fights. Ugas has a great resume, and Ugas had never been stopped until Spence stopped him. So I mean, that you can't say Ugas is trash, Mills. You got to be trolling, man. You got to be trolling. Ain't no way in hell. Now, as far as Bud goes, who Bud fights next at 147 I'm thinking it's going to probably be somewhere around in the range around 7 to 10. I don't see him fighting the Boots. That's not. He's not going to take that. And honestly, unless I'm just trying to challenge myself at Bud's age, I wouldn't fight Boots either. All risk, no reward at that point in time because he's 35. Now, let me take that back. Scratch that. Me just being a competitor and wanting to submit my legacy. I would. I mean, it's high risk. It's not much reward except for if I beat Boots, then it's going to definitely help my legacy out. But I mean, he's not fighting. He's not going to fight Boots. He's not going to fight Ortiz because Ortiz with Oscar. Ortiz has issues with Stanionis anyway. So that's something completely different. So.
All right, man. Am I back? I changed the setting that I don't prefer because I hear myself in my mic, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Dante Hall, man, we've said that so many times before. Yeah. But need to just drop the belt, vacate the belt if he's just gonna hold it hostage right now. If he's not gonna fight Spence for undisputed, he should drop the belt because that's what Spence wants, undisputed. But never said anything about really wanting to be undisputed at 147. So he should definitely drop the belt.
Yeah, I'm responding to somebody right now.
Yeah, legal. I agree. Boots will land all kinds of stuff on Bud. I mean, after seeing Bud last night, Boots. Whew, now I'm big on Boots. I'm not gonna say he's a boogeyman just yet at 147, but he's like right there. He's right there because he's a beast. That kid's a beast. You can't help but like him because of how he is as a person and his way he trains. He's just a humble beast out there.
Yeah, like I like Boots. Again, you and I, we both feel like he's not tested yet. And he's gonna have to show and prove at the end of the day, right? But I do believe he has the skill set and he passes the eye test to give these guys some real problems. But we got to see him in a tough fight. And clearly, some of these other fighters feel the same way, right? Because they're not too anxious to get in the ring with him.
Yeah, not at all. That's a good question, Denise. She said, so will Bud fight anyone on PBC side at 147 or 154?
No.
I don't see that happening.
If he can beat him, yes. If it's clear that he can beat him.
I don't see that happening just because of the strained relationship right now. Unless they get everything right with him and Spence for them to fight next, I don't see him fighting another PBC fighter. I really don't. And Boots is not a PBC fighter.
Profound Dreamer. Appreciate you, man. $4.99. Appreciate you supporting the channel. When do y'all think we will see Spence back in the ring? I think we're going to see Spence in February or March.
Yeah.
So he filed a petition with the WBA to get permission to face Keith Thurman instead of his mandatory. And they specifically stated the date of February. So I'm pretty sure we'll see him back in the ring in February or March. What's going
Spirit
on?
said no one talking about who should Avanesyan fight next week. Fight next.
Guys, now let me say this. I am so glad that I don't have to say the name David Avanesyan again after today.
Anymore.
Some guy that has no. I got pictures of this guy for thumbnails on my computer. I deleted all that shit this morning because you don't need it. He won't be in any kind of picture anymore.
Yeah, man. Let's see.
Oh, let me stop right here. Let me give Rahman Salahuddin. I believe that's how you say your last name. I want to give Rahman some love, man. He's a Terence Crawford supporter. He's always in the comment section. We don't agree on anything, but he's very respectful in the way he disagrees. So shout out to you, man. Appreciate you joining the live chat.
Yeah, that's an interesting take, Deuce. He said, Deuce said Frank Martin is going to watch Keyshawn Davis when they fight. Yeah, Keyshawn been talking a lot of shit, man. Talks a lot of shit. He said last night that he's ready for the champions and whatnot. Before that, he was backpedaling saying, I only have 5 fights. Why everyone talking my name? That's because you talking shit, Keyshawn. But you're young. I get it. But just don't cower back. Just don't backpedal a little bit, bro. Keep it going. Keep pushing forward. I'm not sure about that as far as Keyshawn and Frank, just because Keyshawn has been fighting longer than Frank. Frank started late. Frank is still good. We'll get to see more about how good Frank is this weekend, though. Him and Mitchell Rivera, that's going to be a hell of a fight, So we'll see what Frank got.
So there's a question from Javier Sanchez. Will BLK Prime set up another fight for Bud after they couldn't even break even with the money that was put up in this first event? I highly doubt it.
I agree with you.
I would agree with that. So, I've never felt that they were getting $10 million or that Terence Crawford was getting $10 million. It doesn't make any sense financially, right? When you think about the way that things are structured and the costs associated with the stream and promoting and the undercards, $10 million made absolutely no sense. Bud supporters will come in there and say, well, he confirmed it. He never really confirmed it. What he really did was just sit there in front of BK and say, I had to get to the money. So, but in reality, he never really confirmed $10 million. So, but even at, let's call it 50, 60,000, they probably would not have broken even. They're probably in the red.
Yeah. That's a good question, Denise. I don't think they're going to release those numbers, especially no time soon. No. And I don't even know if I can fully trust it if they did release those numbers, honestly. It'll have to be very super official for me to really believe that. But I agree with some of y'all what y'all saying about Keyshawn. Keyshawn didn't look great last night. He did fight a real pro, to T's point, that knows how to survive. I still question Keyshawn Davis. I really think he's really trying to follow kind of like the rolly road.
You're talking a lot.
Talking a lot of shit with 5 fights now, 7 fights now, 7 fights, 5 knockouts. It's all about how they bring him along, who they strategically put him in the ring against. If he goes in the ring against them at the tops at 135, it's not gonna be good for Keyshawn. He's not ready for that just yet. And I saw someone on another chat was saying that Keyshawn is top 5. I think someone said top 5.
I shouldn't have done that.
So why they said that, I don't know.
So we got 108 people in the building, 71 likes. If you could, please smash that like button. It helps people find this content. So I want to kind of combine topics because we said we're going to talk about Tank Davis. But Tank Davis has been talking a lot about Terence Crawford. So he talked about coming up and fighting Terence Crawford. Does he have any chance of versus Bud Crawford? And I want you guys to tell us what you think in the comment section as well. But I'm going to pass it to you, Jason. What do you think about that? And let me preface this comments.
Here you go.
Jason is a homer. 100% Tank Davis homer. Okay, go ahead.
Here you go. So my take on Tank, for one, Tank's talking too much shit for my liking. Because he's talking too much shit, talking shit to people he's not in line to fight. But never, to my knowledge, Bud never called Tank out. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did Bud call Tank out for anything directly?
No, I don't think so. No. I mean, I wouldn't be
So
surprised since he's smaller, but no, I don't think he actually did.
now, after seeing last night's fight, with the power that Tank has, Tank catches Bud like David Avocado caught him. Bud's going to sleep. I really feel that Tank can hurt people at 147, 154, and possibly 160.
Cap.
147.
Cap.
You full of shit. You know it.
No, I disagree with you.
I
don't think he can hurt people at 154 and 160.
At 147?
Yeah, probably 147. But outside of that, Cap. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I should have interrupted
you. It's all good, Brian. You know, I'm saying if Tank lands, I think he'll get Crawford out of it. The thing is, he has to land. You know, Crawford is still crafty and he's a good counterpuncher. Damn good counterpuncher. You know, the thing is with Tank, he looked better, very much better in his last fight against Rolly as far as his boxing IQ. He was patient. He wouldn't be able to do that with Bud. So he's going to have to catch Bud. He's not going to outbox Bud. That's not happening at all. So don't get it twisted. I'm saying that Tank can outbox Bud, but I think he has the power to knock Bud out.
I think Tank has the power to probably knock out anybody maybe at 147. But Crawford's range, and that's one of his biggest attributes. People talk about Crawford's skills. He has the ability to counterpunch and this, he's athletic, and so forth and so on. But in reality, I think his biggest attribute is the fact that he has that range. And it's very difficult to get to him without him getting to you. So I believe that would be the bigger issue for Tank. He won't get the opportunity to land the power. And because he doesn't get the opportunity to land the power, I just feel like Crawford would pick him apart from outside. But again, I want to go back to the fact that you're a homer and him knocking anybody out at 154 and 160 pounds. It's all cap.
I said possibly at 160.
No, fuck that.
I said possibly.
No, fuck that. We saw
possibly.
What you said in the videos. You said he'll knock them all out. You're a homer.
Alexander Wilson against Cruz, he never landed flush and he hurt his hand. So I'm saying he lands flush, he's gonna put him out there. I think Tank can get him up out of there. You know, he's not gonna outbox Bud. I don't think so. But also at this stage, I think his legs are slower than they once were. I think his legs would need to be there to keep Tank off of him. I just see Tank power he can hurt him. Get him up out of there if he lands flush, but he has to land. And seeing Avocado land like he did, Tank hit land, he's gonna put him up out of there.
Land on who? You talking about Terence Crawford?
Yeah, Tank land on Terence Crawford flush. He's putting Crawford out. He landed one of those flush shots that David hit him with last night. He's putting Terence out of there. He's putting him out of there.
It's possible.
He's putting him out of there.
So, man, what else? What other topics do we want to touch on or cover? Anything else with Terence Crawford?
Nah, not yet.
Anybody in the comment section, do you guys have anything else that you guys have for us relative to Terence Crawford? Yeah, Dante, it's possible that he could knock Tank out for sure. Because Tank is going to have problems with Ryan Garcia.
Hey, D, right. You see I'm bugging, man?
What happened?
No, I'm saying simply that Tank has the power, bro. I'm saying Tank has the power to get Bud out of there. That's it.
Homer.
That's all I'm saying.
Homer.
I'm not saying he's going to outbox
Homer.
Tank ain't on. Tank can't outbox Bud. That can't happen.
So
That won't
listen,
happen.
so he's a Miami fan. He's a homer for them. They're a fucking dumpster fire shit program, and he's a Tank homer. So I just want to make it sure everybody's clear on that.
We'll see. We'll see. All I'm saying is just the power, fellas. Everybody. I'm just saying the power. Oh, okay. Oh,
Okay,
oh.
music, in international rise. These two folks are clowns. The ultimate lying crew, overblown hatred for Crawford. You two are the worst clowns I have seen on YouTube. Nerds in their nerd spectacles.
Hey, you fit right into Angry Man podcast. You real angry, ain't you? You real angry, huh?
Why do Bud fans get so emotional? Why are you so upset about what we're saying? We're not calling you clowns, brother.
Man,
Oh
oh
man.
man. He
Oh, that's funny. I like the
he
spectacles, the nerd spectacles.
Oh my gosh. That's hilarious, man. That shit is too funny. He big mad.
Music International Rise. We don't mind you coming on here and if you feel like you think we're clowns, but what we would like for you to do is come in with a rational argument.
Thank you.
That disputes anything we're saying. And I guarantee you don't have it. Because you're the homer. You're Terence Crawford homer. And that's fine too.
And I'm not a Tank homer. Like, definitely not like that shit there. I'm not sitting here saying Tank can outbox Bud or anything.
No, you're not like that. You're a homer.
So please don't put me, y'all chat. Please don't put me in that group there. Please don't put me in that group there.
He's definitely a homer.
What we think about Tio?
Opportunity. Hey, please hit the like button. We got 115 people in here, 87 likes. Hit the like button. It helps people find the content. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the Mic Check podcast. That's basically a sister channel of this one. So if you like our content, you'll like his as well. T Ward, put your link in the chat section, please.
He did.
You're on cue.
Earlier. Yeah.
No, you need to do it again.
Yeah. All right. So they said asking about Tio. Now, did y'all peep what Tio said at the end of the fight? He was like, "Do I even have it anymore?" No, you don't, Tio. You talk too much shit.
Oh yeah, let's talk about Timo. Oh,
and by the way, this is Greg. This is one of Greg's favorite fighters because he talks shit.
Man, fuck you. No, it's not. Okay, but hold up. You know what? I want to do something. I said that Tio was an excellent fighter in a video this week. I was wrong. He's not an excellent fighter. He's a good fighter, but he's not excellent. I was wrong on that. I gotta eat that right now.
Told you.
No, fuck you. You ain't say that. You ain't say that. Let's talk about Tio, bro. Who did you have winning that fight with Tio?
So for me, I was going back and forth between the Bud sleeper fight, the sparring match, and I threw a shot at Bud. Yeah, I did. But between Bud's fight and Tio's fight. So I saw some of it. I saw Tio get dropped twice in the fight. He got dropped in the second round, beginning of the second round. I think maybe the 6th or 7th round. So from what the clips I was able to see, it looked close. And I figured he may have lost because he got dropped twice. And then at the end of the fight with him saying, do I still have it? And question himself, that makes me believe that he probably lost that fight. I got it taped. I'll probably watch it later tonight or tomorrow to go more in depth on it. But I didn't get to see the full fight because I was going between the two.
Yeah, so that's the thing with me too, Jay. We were trying to go back and forth. So I had one fight on my phone, and then I had one fight on the big screen. I had the Terence Crawford fight on the big screen, and I had Tio's fight on the phone. And so it was hard for me to say. I thought Tio won the first few rounds, but the thing about it, he got knocked down. I think it was in round 1 or 2. And so I didn't even see that because I was going back and forth. So I want to go back and actually look at the fight. But in the later rounds, what I saw was like Tio wasn't there, right? He didn't look good. I think at this point he's not the fighter that I thought he was. I think Haney can beat him. I think Stevenson beat him. I think Tank will beat him. Regis is going to dog walk his ass.
That's
So
gonna be
he's calling out Regis. I would like to see him get in the ring with Regis. Regis is going to dog walk his ass. He talks too much. He believed his hype. And now we're seeing what happens when you start believing your own hype and you're not putting in the work that's necessary to keep yourself at the top level in the game. So that's the way I feel about Tio.
Brenda, you beat him too?
Brenda says she beats him.
She beat him.
Oh, by the way, Brenda, check your email.
Hey, that's why we respect Brenda. Brenda coming here, she a big Bud homer. We gotta keep bobbing and weaving with her. She got some quick hands now. But my problem with Tio is he didn't take accountability for getting his ass beat by Kambosos.
Right.
I have a problem with any fighter that does that. We did the same thing with Wilder when he lost to Fury.
Yep, and we like Wilder.
But we also know he has a lot of flaws. Power in that right hand, but a lot of flaws. So with Tio, when him not taking accountability for his loss to Kambosos and talking shit about Haney, Tank, and everyone else, but not fighting them, I had a problem with that. I'm like, dude, they're your peers, they're your group. That's your era. You beat your era. Fight them. Why wouldn't you? It makes no sense to me.
Yo, Brian S. just made a great comment. He said, Tio needs to get rid of his dad. That shit don't always work, bro. And I think he's right about that. He needs a trainer that's going to put his foot in his ass and tell him the truth. You ain't the best thing since sliced bread.
But the thing also, he needs to tell him that you were never undisputed at 135 as well.
Oh, he's a delusion. He's the most delusional fighter outside of Terence Crawford I've ever seen.
Shot.
Boy, they both are delusional kings.
But I don't know if Tio could work with any other fighter though, because he's just like his dad. He's stubborn as hell. He's delusional as hell. So I don't know if bringing another trainer in will help him, because you still got to listen. It's like AB having Derek James for a fighter. AB still going to throw 5 punches around. That's what AB does. So same thing with Tio. Tio is stuck on believing himself and it's his father's fault, because his father didn't give him the hard truth that, hey, you need to get better. You need to work on this. You need to work on that. But his father's probably a limited fighter trainer as well.
Can I ask you a question? Because you mentioned the name AB. And they mentioned that this weekend he's going to fight Ivan Red Cash. So we saw AB. He was at a presser or some type of, I don't know what it was, but he was at the arena and they announced the fight. AB is supposed to fight in February. Am I correct, Jay?
Yeah, supposed to fight in February.
So he's supposed to fight in February. I'm going to use the comment that you made in our chat. He looks pregnant. So do you think that he can get in good enough shape by February to actually have a competitive fight?
I mean, he's fighting Ivan Redcliffe, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He's fighting Ivan.
Yeah, but this is AB. He hasn't been in the ring in a while. He's overweight.
No, he don't, Brenda. He didn't make weight at 130, 135. That's why AB talked about making his own weight class at 144. Because he couldn't get down to 140 at one point.
Yeah, Jay said he gonna beat him. Shout out to Jay. What's going on? I would not be surprised if he gets beat. I mean, when I look at AB, you're talking about depending on. So if he fights in February, that's 2 months, bro. The way that he looked, I don't know if he can drop that level of weight, and if he does, he's not going to drop it in the correct way.
AB like he about to drop a baby before he dropped that weight right now. He about 4 to 5 months pregnant, easily.
He look bad, bro, and I like AB. I like AB. I think he's a nice guy. He reaches out to all the fighters. And I just think, he's a genuine dude that doesn't necessarily put in the weight that he should put in, right? But
Hey,
I,
Deuce
I
Daly,
just I just don't see it.
Deuce Daly, AB has a fight. He has a fight in favor because he ain't gonna get that cheese because he has to fight 3 fights in 1 year. Something he hasn't done since 2015. So I don't think he's
Brenda
gonna fight,
say,
but we'll see.
Brenda say he
I
should have been.
I agree, Brandon, because I had high hopes for him for early on in his career. Then I watched him fight Paulie, and I saw him struggling with Paulie. Then he got his ass beat by Maidana. And he was partying too much. He was not, you can't play boxing. I know everyone can't be in gym and working out all the time like Floyd used to. Floyd's a separate case. Even Manny's a separate case. But damn, you can't be drinking and partying and doing all that stuff there. So I mean, nah, I can't. AB, I mean, I want him to get better mentally. I want him to be better for his kids. He got a gang of kids, so I want him to be a good man in that sense there. Boxing wise, I don't see him being successful. If he loses to Ivan, it's going to be bad for him. His next 2 fights are going to be ultra trash because if he beats Ivan, he might be able to parlay that to fight Regis because they both talk a lot of shit and that'd be an interesting fight. Or he might be able to fight Rolly because they both talk a lot of shit as well. Only thing with Rolly is with PBC, so that'd be a hard problem.
So Jay, I know we were going to do an hour and a half today. I know you got some things you need to do. So what I want to do right now is kind of switch it over to the folks that are in the chat. Questions from them. We want to answer them and go from there. Give them the opportunity to ask those questions. What are you laughing about?
Lucci Capone says AB is the new bad initiatives to have now. But that's big fact. If you got AB, you gonna be a screw up for real, big time. And Brian,
hey guys, we got 116 people in the building, 96 likes. Please hit the like button if you like this content. If you don't, hit the you do not like button. And then also, if you like the channel, subscribe to the channel. We're always dropping content, and I think you will like the content.
Yeah, I agree. AB knows he know how to sell the fight. That's why when BLK announced, they had AB on that kitchen table in Grandma Big Mama house, I was like, that's a good signing. Although AB is not relevant as far as like a top fighter, he has a name and he's gonna sell. He sells the fight. He's gonna talk shit. He's gonna get people intrigued to watch. Some people watch to see him lose, and some people watch to see him win, or just to see him period, just because he's gonna talk a lot of shit. So I mean, if AB was to fight Rolly or Regis, that'd be top. That'd be pay-per-view just for the interviews with them. That'd be the best part of that whole fight because Regis will kill AB.
Hey, Deuce Daly, he asked a question: Regis versus Teo. Regis dog walks his ass, and I don't have to do a film breakdown on that.
It'll get ugly. That'll be ugly. Ugly as hell.
Excited about the Martin versus Riviera fight next. Yeah, we're excited about that one too. Jay, I got to sit down and really and see, what his skills are and what he brings to the table. I've seen plenty of Frank Martin fights, but I haven't seen as many of Rivera's. So I got to take a look at that and get a better understanding of what Rivera brings to the table. But we'll definitely do that and have a breakdown video for that one, right, Jay?
Oh, for sure. For sure. Oh, William Old School. Yeah, I mean, AB ain't gonna retire because he got that 3-fight deal. He got to fight 3 fights this year to get that money.
So, Sean T.
Appreciate you, Sean
T. How do you guys feel about Crawford not committing to the Errol fight? So, number one, Sean T., I want to say thank you. Thank you for supporting the channel. We really appreciate it. And I know I've seen you in the comments of the videos that we've had in the past few weeks. So much love. He doesn't have energy for Errol Spence. And that's a bad sign, guys. I noticed it immediately. And again, sent Jason the message. He doesn't really have the energy. He's not calling him out. He doesn't seem to really want to fight. He's had the
Screen
opportunity
froze.
to wet his beak with this deal with BLK Prime, where he got probably a sum of money that wasn't worth it. So my opinion is he's going to try to wet his beak again and get the opportunity to make money against someone who is not a top flight fighter. So more than likely, he's not going to be in the ring with Errol Spence next. And I've been saying that for months. I don't believe he's going to fight him, period.
Appreciate you, Jay.
Jay, appreciate you, man.
Much appreciated,
You've been
sir.
one of the staunch subscribers on our channels, always in the comment section. We appreciate the love that you guys and that you give us. Did I freeze?
Greg, your screen froze.
But can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. I can hear you. I think everyone can hear you too.
Yeah, I see I'm froze. Let me refresh.
Yeah. Now, Deuce Daily. Yeah, Rivera has no respect for Martin. Martin been hella sparring. Yeah, I mean, Rivera he better come in that fight have respect for Martin, because if he don't, he can possibly get knocked out. So I mean, that'd be real bad. But I think Mitchell Rivera has a better background, because Martin hasn't been fighting that long at all. So it's gonna be a good fight. I'm interested to see how it goes down. See what Derek James, being in Derek James camp and being with Spence and them, has the type of effect it's put on Martin. But nothing can get you ready like fighting itself without having a long amateur background. That can be a problem for him a little bit. You're back, Greg. Your screen back now.
Oh, you can see me?
Yeah.
Because I can't see me.
All right, William. Be safe, man. Yeah, audio good. Jay said audio good.
Perfect.
Someone said, now y'all might not believe this, but Greg's favorite up and coming fighter right now is the great one, Blair the Flair Cobb.
Why I hate this motherfucker so much. I swear. So the fighters that are coming up right now. So I would say my favorite fighter probably coming up right now is probably Devin Haney. And although this other fighter is not really my cup of tea, I think he's the best fighter coming up right now, and that's Shakur Stevenson. So anything else you hear from Jason, it's all bullshit, because he's full of shit and he ain't shit.
I ain't shit, y'all. I ain't shit. No, but you're right on that as far as like Devin and Shakur, the young guns. Those are two of my favorites, for sure. Just because I love the sweet science of hit and don't get hit, and that's Shakur and Devin Haney to a T. I just wish they had a little bit more thump, a little bit more crack, but Floyd didn't have all the crack in the world. Let me not put it that way. I don't know the crack. He didn't have all the thump in the world, but he knew how to keep people up off him, and he had enough thump where people weren't coming in all crazy. So I think the same thing for Devin and Shakur. I just don't know what their ceiling would be as far as their weight. I don't see them competing at 154, 140, and 147 probably tops for both of them, I would see.
Yeah, I was looking at a video earlier today when I was trying to find those videos on individuals calling out Terence Crawford. And Shakur is actually pretty tall. Because I saw him standing next to Boots. So I don't know. Maybe he can definitely go up to 147 is my thought.
Yeah.
I mean, so can Haney. But 154 is probably a reach.
That's out of them. Yeah, I think that's a reach for both of them.
What else we got, man?
Yeah, me too, Brenda. We've all gained a lot of respect for Haney to go to Australia twice and take that shit.
That's where I got my respect for him.
Now he wants Loma and everything, and he about that business. I do want his dad to kind of pull back a little bit from talking so much. But I mean, I guess you need both, because Devin done cap off like that. Bill definitely gonna stick up for his son like he should, but I just want to pull back just a little bit.
Yeah, he should
Hey,
pull back. He's a little bit too much in the mix. Yeah.
hey Jay, you said how we feel about David Morrell versus Jermall Charlo at 168. Depending on what we get, what kind of Maul, what we get from Maul. You know, David Morrell, his last two fights, he looked good in his last fight. The fight before that, he looked bad. You know, so he's still young, but he's strong and he's hungry. So I just don't know what version of Maul we're gonna get. You know, if he's still hungry. You know, he's been out of the ring for what 18 months, dealing with several things from his personal issues to his back issues. You know, and with all that, you know, like how Hagler said, it's hard to get up out of bed when you're in silk sheets. You know, so I mean, I think that's Maul right there in a nutshell. I don't know.
Man, Maul ain't in no damn silk sheets. He ain't made that kind of money. I mean, guys, and I like Maul, but I'm just saying that comment applies to those who have made, exuberant amount of money. And I don't think that's Jermall Charlo. I don't think he's at that level yet.
Oh, that's
I
right.
want to
Yeah,
see
they're both.
Maul. I want to see Maul get into the ring with the guys he said he want to get in the ring with, like
Good
Caleb
point,
Plant,
Hughes.
Benavidez. Get in the ring with them. He's been calling out. He said he was willing to get in the ring with Benavidez. He talked about getting a fight with Caleb Plant. So that's who I want to see him in the ring with. I think Maul is at a stage in his career right now that his name is starting to fade to an extent. And so he might be more willing to fight the Caleb Plants and the Benavidez of the world.
He really don't have no choice right now because right now, like you said, when you think about Charlo, you're not really thinking about the Charlo twins no more. You think about
I'm talking about Jermall. And that's the reverse, right?
Yeah, because before it was Maul.
About Maul.
So yeah, I mean they've been talking about that Charlo and Boo Boo fight for a long time, long time. So well, that'd be interesting. They say Leonard Ellerby versus Eddie Hearn.
I saw that. That was funny. All right, Jay, we at almost at the hour and a half, and I know you got got some things you need to do.
Oh, they said Jaime little G. Jaime ain't gonna fight nobody.
No.
Jaime Miguel, he ain't gonna fight nobody. He's running from everybody, it seems. He had an opportunity to fight Maul. He had an opportunity to fight Boo Boo, I believe. He's had an opportunity to fight everybody, but he's not. He's running. He's running or Oscar is hiding.
Basically. So Jay, again, so I know we are at almost the hour and a half mark. So I don't want to hold you too much longer.
Lil G is too old. Lil G is too old, dudes.
Hey Ryan, I am drinking on some Courvoisier. You know about that because we used to drink that when we were hitting up all those nightclubs back in the day.
I feel you, Brendan. I feel you, Brendan. I'm not with. I can't stand Munguia because of all the stuff. He's had plenty of opportunities to fight a top fighter, and he has yet to do so.
Agreed. So Jason, you keep going like you want to just keep going. I got another 30 minutes. I keep going.
It's the chat. I can keep going. We keep it going, man.
Well, keep it going. You were talking like, man, I got to get off in an hour and a half. I got to put the meat on the grill. So I'm trying to help you out.
See, you trying to bring it out of me. You trying? I would not. I would not let the devil win. The devil won't win today.
I'm trying to show y'all the real Jason. I'm poking at it. I want y'all to see the real one. Y'all seeing the fake one on the videos. I want y'all to see the real one.
Hey, what's up, Ohio style lyrics? Yeah, Charlo.
So man, somebody mentioned something in the comment section, and we did a video on it, right? So the UK, Terence Crawford wants to fight in the UK. Is that another method for ducking Errol Spence? Because we know goddamn well that's not going to happen over in the UK.
No,
don't even make any damn sense. What are your thoughts on that, Jay?
That makes no sense. That makes no sense. I mean, that wouldn't do well at all. There, for one, neither Bud nor Errol are known like that. They're not Mike Tyson. Right. They're not Muhammad Ali. they're not known like that. So it's not gonna be well. It's not gonna do well. It's not. It's a bad idea. If you're gonna fight someone over there in Europe, you're gonna have to fight a European that has a name. Unless your name is unless you're a megastar. Bud and Spence, they're not megastars.
No, I agree with that.
Why gotta be like that, Brendan? Why gotta be like that?
No, I agree. I agree with what you're saying, right? So let's think about this, right? So you got Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. They have had some exposure over in the UK because they've had fights over there. And I think they both won titles over there. I know specifically Spence did.
Spence did.
So they have some exposure over there. But the level of support that you get from UK, that is related to the fact that those fighters are from the UK. These two fighters are not from the UK. And regardless of what anybody thinks about them, we're Terence Crawford fans, we're Errol Spence fans. Over in the States, we know about them, but that's only hardcore boxing fans. Within the United States, general population, these two guys walk down the street, they won't know them. So why in the hell in the UK would they know them or care about them? There's no way that makes any sense. And then when you think about the pay-per-view levels, you talk about the tickets that they sell over there, the price of those tickets, it will be a failure. So I don't understand, or let me back up. I won't say it will be a failure, but you won't maximize the amount of revenue that you will be able to get, right? So why are you even suggesting that? It just feels like he doesn't really understand, or he's ducking, one or the other.
Yeah. Hey, dudes, you know why they're not calling Morrell? Because Morrell got some fire. He's young and he has fire. I mean, actually, Benavidez called Morrell out, and Morrell kind of Ronnie Shields pulled him back because he had that bad performance up until his last fight. So Benavidez wanted that smoke with Morrell, but Morrell backed out of it. Or his camp backed out. I'm not going to say Morrell backed. His camp backed him out of it.
Yeah. What else do we have on the
exactly bodywork boxing?
What were you saying, Jay? Sorry, I lost you.
No, I was talking about Morrell. David Morrell fighting Benavidez, and why Deuce was like, why are they calling out Maul at 168 when he's not 168 yet? He's at 160, you know. So they need to be calling his stablemate Morrell, who was already at 168. I'm like, they're gonna call out Maul because Maul's been inactive. He'll be coming up in weight, so he's an easier win in the sense. They might be. He looks like he's damaged goods. You know, he's been injured. He had a lot of personal issues. So his head might not really be in it. So that's why they're calling him out versus Morrell, who's a young lion coming up.
Let's see what else we got in the chat. Crawford definitely didn't make it clear when they asked him about Spence last night. Yeah, he's not.
Hey, Brenda, I got your moms and beat Canelo on that. I got your moms all day. Unless Canelo's been hitting on that meat again, that tainted meat, then your moms might have to have some problems.
What else we got in the comment section? Anything else? Do we want to touch on that WWE stuff?
Yeah, we can touch on that.
So we know that WWE, I don't know if it was one of their quarterly releases or one of their quarterly conference calls to talk about where they are in terms of their financials, but they mentioned growth. And when you think about WWE and growth, you would think it would be some smaller wrestling organization. When I think about growth, specifically in this economy currently, it usually is talking about international market penetration. That's typically what companies are talking about. But in this particular case, not only were they talking about the additions of other wrestling companies, but they were talking about getting into boxing. And so I want to poll the chat. What do you guys feel about WWE possibly getting into boxing? Now consider this. We need organization. uniform rules and guidance in terms of boxers, because I believe that that would create a situation where we will have fighters fighting the best fights and fighters fighting the other best fighters in and around the divisions. So what do you guys think about that? And DJ, I want to pass it to you while people get the opportunity to form their opinions about this. What are your thoughts on it?
I mean, it bothers me. It worries me because I want to have another player in the game, yes, but WWE has failed in football before, and they had tough man competition way back when, if I'm not mistaken, that failed as well. And it would taint boxing because boxing is a real thing. It's not like entertainment where they're coming from. You saw what they did to their version of the NFL, the XFL. They put it all out of more entertainment into it, so it kind of sunk the game down a little bit. So I fear that would happen with boxing. Also, um, it just seems like would they have their own entity, like XFL versus NFL, where they have their own WWE boxing?
Will have to be.
And if they do that, these fighters aren't going to be able to hop on over there just so fast because a lot of them are already on the obligations for contracts currently. Also it's something new. It's like, are you going to be a fight the elite competition? Now I want to have it more like the UFC where the best fight the best. You're number one, you're going to fight number two.
Yep.
But I just don't trust it, and especially everything that's going on with Vince McMahon and all his stuff that's going on. It gives me reason for pause on that. I just don't trust it.
Yeah. So my thoughts on that. So initially, I agree with it, right? Like, so for me, I thought it was a good idea. Because we need uniformity in boxing, simply. Yeah, I mean, we need that. And we need the best fighters fighting the best. And there's been too many across the street and, coming to the table with ridiculous negotiation tactics that are clear that you don't actually want to fight. And so if you have one division, one kind of entity that manages the entire thing, I think that will be critical in the success of boxing. But we've had some people in our comment session, like Deuce Daly and some other folks, and I think they've changed my mind because I wanted them because I thought it would be interesting. They have the pockets to actually do it. But coming in, and I can't remember exactly who it was that said this, but the fact that WWE does not have the legitimacy of boxing, it could delegitimize boxing. And so that's the issue that I have. But they have very deep pockets. If they were going to do it, they need to make it a separate branch and it's not associated with WWE. Meaning I won't see Triple H, I won't see Stephanie McMahon or Stone Cold Steve Austin. None of that shit will work in boxing, right? It does not work. So I would like to see a major player with deep pockets get into boxing and help organize it, but it cannot have a WWE brand. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. Does that make sense to you, Jay? Does that make sense to you guys in the chat?
Yeah, I mean, to piggyback off of that, I mean, boxing they need self accountability themselves with the judges. There's no way in hell these judges should continue to judge boxing matches with the bullshit they've been putting out there. So if boxing were to do that to make themselves look better, they wouldn't have to worry about other people poaching their fighters or poaching the sport in general. So it's a big issue within boxing. Boxing got to police itself and get itself right first to avoid any issues of potentially losing the sport altogether. I mean, it's struggling. It's about UFC big time. I mean, WWE and UFC numbers really kick boxing's ass.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's exactly right. I mean, it's falling behind the other sports. Do you remember? And people in the chat, do you remember when we were growing up? And I don't know how old the people are in the chat, but I can tell you, 80s, late 80s, boxing was the shit.
Hell yeah. It was coming on Saturdays for free TV.
Dude, it was like one of the top 4 sports. Everybody watched fighting. Everybody watched boxing. And then we got into the 90s. It was still big. It was still big, but it started to decline a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And when we got into the 2000s, it was still somewhat okay, but it had declined more. It definitely wasn't in the top four. Then when we got into the 2010s, it's really declined. But Mayweather and Pacquiao carried the interest in boxing. And now it's dog shit. It is. It's dog shit right now.
Yeah, I mean,
And we
right now
need to
it's
do
just
some things
for
to improve it.
yeah, it's just for the true boxing fans, that follow the sport, all in like people in the chat like us. I mean, we're diehards of the sport itself. It's sad that it stayed in, but it's also it's boxing's own fault in a sense because they open the door for other entities to get in there and do shit. They didn't police themselves. How many times have we seen fighters get robbed 24/7 or just be questionable? Like, how the hell they had that close? Why was it that big disparity in the scorecards? So until boxing itself is a dirty business. It's not trustworthy at all. Yeah, you're right, Arsola. Big fights don't happen. And that's what we want to see.
Yeah, they're not happening. And it's mostly because of Brenda's boy, Terence Crawford. So I took a shot at Brenda and Terence Crawford. But I love you, Brenda. The Keggy, I was looking at the HBO boxing numbers from 2014, 2015. They were doing really well, 1 million plus viewers. And then figures started to drop in 2016. Yeah, I mean, boxing has started to decline. Um, when you say 1 million plus viewers, you must be talking about just HBO, not their HBO pay-per-view. So that's what I was talking about when I said dog shit. And specifically more toward the 2017, 2018, 2019. But I hear your point. And we've heard rumors that Showtime is thinking about actually getting out of it as well, right? It's just not as lucrative. And I've been concerned about that, man, because boxers have been getting overpaid over the last few years. And Eddie Hearns did a video on that, and he's absolutely right on that. Boxers have been getting overpaid, and that's part of the challenge that we've been having with boxing overall. These guys got to be able to make a reasonable profit margin on this. And if they're not making that profit margin, people are going to stop investing in boxing. And those hardcore fans like you and I, we will not get the fights that we want to see. As a matter of fact, boxing will cease to exist.
Yeah, it'll fall fall to the wayside easily. And until we start getting a big fight, I mean, we're starting off January is really good though. Hopefully, the way January starts off, it can carry us throughout the rest of the 2023.
Hey, can we talk about something real quick? So Deuce Daly, he said lies. Promoters have been getting underpaid, not boxers. So I think you mean promoters have been getting overpaid. So Deuce, the reason why I say that is because of this. The PBC, Jason, tell me if you remember this. T Ward, tell me if you remember this. They got a $500 million deal. This was around 2014, 2015. These guys were getting all kinds of substantial amount of money to make these fights. And these fights were not big fights. Terence Crawford was making $6 million a fight. And at the end of the day, he was not, or Top Rank was not recouping that money. So PBC, Top Rank were overpaying fighters based on their ability to actually generate top line revenue. So that's the reason why I say they've been getting overpaid. So I don't know if you disagree with that, Deuce Daly, and I don't know if other people in the chat feel differently, but I think what's happening is it's almost like a housing bubble where your house has been overvalued and people have been paying a value that's over the true market value of a house. And then all of a sudden, the market just changes because you realize that the house is overvalued. And so now people are not willing to actually pay for the value of the house. And so you see the market value crash. I feel like that's what's happening with boxers. Their market value is crashing. It's coming back to earth. They're resisting that, and it's creating the issue that we're currently seeing. That's my opinion. That's a great point. So you see what Brenda just said? Um, how about judges watching through ropes with limited vision instead of on monitors? That's not a bad idea, bro.
But some of
Why
these, I
not have
mean,
them give them the ability to see on monitors what's exactly happening?
but the thing is, some of these decisions have been so egregious, it wouldn't have made a difference.
Yeah,
It
maybe.
definitely helps. It definitely helps. So Brenda has a point there. It definitely will help, and make it better for them. But some of these judges are making some bullshit. They could be in the ring, be like the referee, and they still would make the wrong decision. I agree
Hey,
with the
Jimmy
Kevin.
Boxing. That's a fair point. That's a fair point. I think Jimmy Boxing is correct on that. I used $6 million, and that was the amount he was paid for Porter. But I think you are correct. $3 million per fight was correct. Appreciate you coming in the chat section and correcting that. What else we got, Jay?
Just saying if we miss anything. Um, the KD had a good point. HBO getting out of boxing has really been a big reason boxing isn't as strong as it used to be.
Yeah, because they were helping to subsidize boxing, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
I mean, they were, but they also had it on a platform where everyone was seeing because everyone had HBO was the channel to have, you know, and they had they had Tyson, for a while, who was one of the biggest superstars in boxing. They had Tyson, even when Tyson was older, they still had him.
Yeah. So based on what T Ward is saying, in 5 fights, he's made $21.8 million. That means he's made around a little over $4 million.
Mm-hmm.
Man, we really need to get a stats person. There's so many stats in boxing, and it's a lot.
Yeah.
So Jay, I know, you said earlier that you can keep going, but it's about that time. You got to go
Yeah.
get that meat on the grill. So first of
I
all, I
hate
want to
you.
thank. Why you hate me, man? I just put your shit out there. I mean, it's just what it is.
Oh, T
Okay,
said he
man.
got the numbers. We just sent a request. We're gonna
All
get at
right.
you, T.
So first of all, I want to thank everybody that donated to the channel. Sean T, Jay. I feel like somebody else donated to the channel. Jay, am I missing somebody?
Yeah. Oh
I feel like
man.
I'm missing somebody.
Shanti J. Dang, it won't let me go that far back.
Yeah, it won't let me go that far back either.
We appreciate you, even though we may have missed your name, but we appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate everybody that donated to the channel. We appreciate everybody that comes and checks out the content. As you guys can see, every week, every month, we try to improve our content, our presentation, and everything. If you haven't had the opportunity, please hit the like button. It helps other folks find the content. And if you haven't had the opportunity, please subscribe to the channel. I think you guys will like the content that we put out. I feel like it's a little bit different from some of the other YouTube channels in terms of boxing related content. Uh, Forgive me for the mic issues. Right now, I can hear this echo in my earpiece, but for whatever reason, it works best, and we'll continue to work to make sure that the audio is better. Jay, is there anything else you want to add before we get off here?
Now the chat, man, y'all came through. We appreciate y'all, and we're gonna come out with some more heat coming up this week with the Frank Martin Mitchell fight. So we'll look out for that video there, and then we'll definitely do another one on Sunday to talk about the fight, post fight.
Absolutely. We always love it here, or we love coming in and cooking. We try to cook the best that we can. We will be cooking on this channel. We will be cooking on the Mic Check podcast. T Ward, please post your channel in the chat.
Follow him.
Appreciate you guys. What were you about to say, Jay?
No, I said subscribe and follow T Ward, the Mic Check.
Absolutely.
He has great content, not just on boxing, but on other sports as well.
On everything. On everything. He covers everything. So again, appreciate you guys. Again, we'll keep working to make the content and make the show better and better and better. So until next time, peace.
Peace.